control our mental errors.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing that
That's
we can
what
control.
I was going to go to, Joy.
Right? The thing is, this is the thing. Coming to the season, this is what I knew we had. I knew we had a young roster. We had one of the youngest rosters here, right? And then on top of that, what we have is we have guys coming in. Are we still on?
Yeah, we're on. I think Riff is off, but we're on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just walked right from the camera. All right, so it's mental errors, and then there's guys going out there, and we don't have the depth for guys. The guys get hurt.
Right.
We don't have the depth for guys aren't getting it right on the field. One thing that Jim Caldwell would do, he would tell you to do your job. You do it the first time, you're good. Right? You don't do it, he's gonna tell you again. If you don't do it again, then you're out. We're going to the next job. We don't have that here, right?
See, what this is a good example of is when you have stars, and when you have not even necessarily stars, when you have guys that are bona fide number ones and number twos, they don't have to be Pro Bowlers, but they're the starting wide receiver, they're the starting offensive lineman, they're the starting running backs, or the number twos. What happens is a lot of times, Joy, I'm telling the truth. Mm-hmm. You'll see 3, 4s, and 5s not pay attention in team meetings. They won't necessarily pay attention to the reps because they know they're not going to play. They won't necessarily do the homework and watch the film and study the opponents on the defense. If you're on offense, you won't study those defensive backs because you're like, I'm not getting the game. It doesn't matter. Like, I might not be active. This is a situation that Joy hit the nail on the head. You got to do what you can control. You have to pay attention to the film. You have to be the guy that's ready to step up. You got to do your job.
How do you stop that?
How you stop that is not do it on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this is how you stop it. Every Friday, we will
test. We do the test.
No, we have the test, but every Friday what we'll have is it's not just a test. Because the test, you write down on paper, you hand it in.
We'll do the walkthrough. It's like a test through the walkthrough.
No, not the walkthrough. This is a little bit more. It's a little bit more intimidating than that. What you do is the coach. We have this thing called Friday morning game show.
Oh yeah.
They bring in the entire. We're in the team meeting room. You have every. I think we
out again.
Are we out again? Are we out again? I'm out.
Oh, you're out?
I'm out.
Hello?
No, I think we're good.
We're good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and so what they'll do is you'll go in on Friday morning. You have your whole team. You have the whole coaching staff. We have all the scouts. You have the GM. You have the whole front office. You have the owner. And what they do is they'll call one player from offense, one player from defense, one player from special teams, and they make you walk down in front of the entire team, and the head coach will ask you questions specifically about that upcoming game. You have to get on the board and write down the answer. You have to draw it out. And then that way it held everyone accountable. And I came in 2012 with Swartz, and what they have is I was just a special teams guy.
Right.
I wasn't starting. I wasn't getting too many players on offense, but he'll call you down. He'll call you down. When you get down there, you have to know the answers. What down and distance do they blitz the most?
Yeah. And we do. We've done similar things like that too. But being honest, this NFL, who has time for that? Like, who has time to sit there and do that? Who has time to want to go through all of that? Like, your job, go home and do it.
Yeah.
Your job, go home and do it. Like, I know with tests you can cheat. Like, I know what you can just take somebody and say, here's this, this play, here's the audible for this play. I got it. I get that, but nobody has time for that. Like, we don't need to be policing these kids. If I'm paying you this, if I'm paying you that, I don't need to be policing you.
The Lions are in a perfect spot though, where if guys don't know assignments, just cut them.
No,
seriously.
If they don't know assignments, is that Joe's fault as a coach, or is that the player's fault?
I think it's the player.
It's the player's fault.
It can be the player's fault, but sometimes we have young guys coming in. They don't know how to be pros.
Yeah.
And we have a young team with guys who aren't that much older than them, who only been in the league 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
They still learning how to be a pro.
Right.
You don't come into the NFL and just automatically, you know how to take care of your body, you know what to eat, you know how to study.
That's why, Braylon, you're really big on bringing in a guy like Golden
Tate back. I talk about all the time.
Just to show these young guys how to be a pro.
And I'm glad I got Joik on the show to talk to Joik about it. I've been saying on Woodward Sports, the bottom line, for the last 3 weeks, you got to bring in somebody like Golden. The reason why is Golden is a wide receiver. He's healthy. He knows Detroit. He knows the culture here. He's a great guy. He's dependable. And he's a pro's pro.
Hey guys, pro, and then he's still a playmaker, too.
Boom.
10 seconds, we're going to
rejoin
our friends from 101 WRIF.
Engineered to use up to 50% less water.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
I'll come in with 2 minutes ready to go, ready to fire.
That's right. We are broadcasting live here at the DraftKings Rock and Roll pregame show here at the Tin Roof. The Lions taking on the Bengals momentarily, less than about 40 minutes away. Had some technical difficulties, but that is the joy of doing live radio. And
it was like Queens in 78.
You know what's funny is what you guys were just talking about is doing the homework when you're playing football, right? Like you guys have to. And I think some people, the fans, they really want to like talk smack and say they should have done this, they should have done that. But the truth is they're not the ones that are out on the field. They're not the ones that are getting hit. It's kind of similar with us here in radio. You can be prepared as much as you want, and then the power supply goes, and you just sit here and you go, well, you just say, I guess we're in the cloud now. But I think that there is something to that you guys were saying. Like the players need to do the homework. There's so much more going into this each week than you guys just taking the field and just throwing the ball around and trying to get a win. And who cares? Like if you don't care, then you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, and Joy just talked about it, hit the nail on the head, and actually I had to take a step back and realize that these guys are young. There's not the pros pro ahead of them. They're guys that are learning on the fly. Even the veteran guys on the Detroit Lions aren't that old. They're learning on the fly. So, you got to teach the culture, not just change it. You have to teach it. But that's the importance, and I was talking about this, and I'm going to keep harping on this. That's the importance, and Dan Campbell having to take a chance on some of these veteran guys that are sitting around. Golden Tate is a pro's pro. I played with him in Seattle. Joy played with him here in Detroit. Like, he knows how to play the game. He knows how to prepare for the game. He knows how to work. He's a playmaker. He knows the city of Detroit. He and his wife, they are good individuals. You can learn from Golden Tate. This guy's sitting around. He's waiting for a phone call. And I guarantee you, he's not a guy that's waiting to play for the Dallas Cowboys or waiting to play for the Baltimore Ravens and the team that is going to the Super Bowl. He's just ready to play.
You think so?
Dial him up.
You think so?
I think so.
You know what? I think he's at that time now to say, what are the incentives for me to go back to Detroit?
Right.
They have a new GM. They have a new head coach. The thing is right now, I think we're the youngest NFL team right now. We are the youngest NFL. But the good thing about that, when you talk about teaching culture, what you talked about earlier, Brayley, when you said teaching culture, when you bring guys in that are young, they don't know what they don't know, so they're willing to take whatever. They're willing to, they're sponges, right? They're willing to take in everything that you're willing to teach them.
Is it supposed to hurt that hard when I get hit?
I saw Golden Tate on Get Up Football a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about the Giants, and he was talking about just wanting to get back in football. But here's the incentive, Joy. It's not about necessarily going for to the championship. Certain individuals really love football. You know where they want to be? They want to be in that front office. They want to be a GM. They want to be president. They want to be an ambassador to a team. You bring Golden Tate in now, part of the incentive is we're not just bringing you in to catch touchdowns. We're not just bringing you in to be a player coach like Juwan Howard was with the Miami Heat. Yeah. But we're bringing you in, we want to put you in the front office at some point. We want to give you a position at some point. I would take that job. To be in the front office with a regime that's just starting, that's just learning in the front, I would put Golden Tate in that position. That's the incentive.
Thanks for the live. I'm going to knock it out the park. Bob Quinn did the same thing. He brought me in 2016. Listen, Joy, listen, we're not going to bring you back next year. I just want to bring you to the office and let you know that. We're going to, not saying that the window's closed, but listen, all the coaches here, they respect you. They respect you. And, say you go play another 2 or 3 more years on another team. When you decide to retire, we want to bring you back here, and we want to bring you back into the front office. What front office?
Hi-oh.
What front office?
Yeah, but one thing about it is
you see what I'm saying?
But you're an individual.
You don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, he said he'd bring you back, go play for another team, and he'll bring you back. I'm talking about they bring him back as a player and as a person that they're building in the front office.
But that's what I'm saying, though.
The front office is Sheila Ford Hemp. She ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Who?
Sheila Ford Hemp ain't going nowhere. She owns the team.
But we're not talking about Sheila Ford. We're talking about the people in the front office.
Owners, but players can ingratiate themselves to owners. You get a chance, it's what you do. It's your chance.
I'm going to tell you right now, he already has a great relationship with the Ford family.
I understand that.
Why did they let him go in the first place? Was he not producing? Was he not playing well?
Why'd they let everybody go? If you want to go that route,
if we're going to talk about why they're doing any of the things that they're doing, the decisions haven't been great, guys. Let's be honest. The decisions of the Detroit Lions. Oh, no. Well,
you know what? Control what you can control.
Somebody could have controlled
that. It was not any 4 of us that could have controlled that.
That is crazy how that's happening.
That one is crooked now. It's like drunk. It's like me last night after I was trying to leave the bar.
Hey, you can tell that camera's been a tin room.
That is the truth. That is the truth. Well, we're broadcasting live here down at the Tin Roof. It's the DraftKings Rock and Roll pregame show on 101 WRIF. We're going to do a little Rival Sons right now. Electric Man. That's the name of the song.
The wind is kicking my butt right now, man.
Yeah. We'll be back momentarily here at the Tin Roof.
There we go.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Welcome back. We're doing another check-in here from the Cuervo Zone. I'm Maddie. I'm here with Terry Foster. Terry, it's a beautiful day here in Detroit. Lions fans are very hopeful for the win today. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I have no thoughts on this game. You know, when you think or you're guaranteeing that the Lions are going to win, they usually lose. But this season, even when you think they're going to lose, they lose. But I don't have a feel for this game because I just don't think the Lions are consistent, and that's the thing that hurts them. Now, here's what I will say. This game is going to come down to the last moments. I think the Lions are going to kick the field goal that's either going to doom their fate or have it a big celebration down here. So will they make the field goal?
Well, I hope they make that field goal, too. I know we have a growing list of injuries. Is that the main concern, or what are your main concerns going into this game for the Lions today?
No, every team is injured this time of year. My main concern is, will Dan Campbell be the aggressive coach at the end of the game that he is during the game? My main problem with the Lions, besides losing all their games, is that I see some potential. I see guys that want to fight. They want to get down to the ground, and they're very aggressive. And at the end of the game, when it's time to decide the game, let's become pussycats, and I don't like that.
Who do you think is going to be the player of the game today? Who are we looking out for?
You're probably looking at DeAndre Swift. He's a guy that you look at and say, you know what, he should have a better season. And at some point, he's going to break out. And at some point, you're going to say, okay, this guy's got some potential, because the offensive line has been inconsistent. At some point, those guys are going to solidify themselves, and I think Swift is going to be the guy that benefits from it.
Awesome. Well, we'll take our look out for Swift here in today's game. What else are we looking at, though? You know, we've got Swift, we've got Jared Goff. Do we think he's going to be able to make any passes today?
Yeah, he'll make some passes, but because of his little tiny fingers and arms and hands, I'm afraid he'll fumble it a couple times. Jared Goff can pass. Jared Goff can put yards up. The problem is, in this league, you can't turn the ball over. And I don't know if he's got butter on his hands or they're just too small, but he's going to fumble a couple times, and that's problematic.
Nobody wants to turn over. We've seen a lot of those this year, especially with the newer quarterbacks. The younger quarterbacks have had a lot of intercepted passes. They've seen a lot of turnovers. What are your thoughts on Joe Burrow?
I think Joe, of the young guys, he's one of my top 2 or 3 guys. He has poise. Too bad he got injured last year, but I think he's a very good quarterback. He's going to be a star in this league. He'll be a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback at some point. And as far as the interceptions with the young guys, that's young quarterbacks in general. What has happened, I think society has changed. We look at a guy, we see what he does in college, so we put him in the NFL, we think he's going to be a superstar right away, and it's never worked that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of younger guys really making the name for themselves this year, too. Not just the turnovers, but they're also doing star things. Well, in this game today, what is your prediction?
My prediction is the Lions will win their first game today. They will make that field goal at the end, and it'll be something like 24-21 or something goofy like that.
24-21, we're going to win by 1 field goal. You heard it here first. Let's get back to you guys.
All right, Maddie, thanks so much. We are here at the Tin Roof in downtown Detroit. Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards, Joy Bell.
This wind is vicious.
Yeah.
Chill.
Thankfully, they're not.
There we go. And we're right back here. We're right here at Tin Roof. We're here with.
Go ahead, Joy. Go ahead, Joy.
We bounce back. Control what you can control.
That's right, guys. So, so Lions and
Tigers and Bears.
Bengals today. The catch up on the London game. The Miami Dolphins lead Jacksonville 20-17 right now. There is 4:45 to go in the game. Jacksonville has the ball near midfield, trying to at least tie this one up. I'm interested in this one because, again, Jacksonville is the only winless team in the NFL aside from the Detroit Lions. But the sun is shining out here, fellas.
That's not why you're interested. You're interested because if they win, you think we're going to win.
I think we're going to win if Jacksonville wins this game. We're going to pause 10 seconds, and when we come back, we will join our teammates from 101 WRIF. It is the DraftKings Rock and Roll Pregame Show live from Tin Roof.
Oh, yeah.
Back with more of the DraftKings Rock and Roll Pregame Show on 101 WRIF.
Yes, that's right. We're broadcasting live down here at the Tin Roof for the DraftKings Rock and Roll Pregame Show. My name is Jade alongside Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards, and my good friend Joy Bell. And we are going to watch the Lions today get their first win. I'm feeling confident about the situation today over at Ford Field.
I'm feeling confident. I didn't get my name as a good friend. Joy, so I'm feeling confident. I'm a little upset and jealous right now. I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm a little jealous.
Control what you can control, right?
You know what? There you go.
For whatever reason, you guys always get put on the other table. I don't know.
Because Maz used to sit next to you.
Yes.
You know what it is, though? You see that when I talk about energy? You see how they get that energy? And now Brady wants the energy as well.
That's true. Well, the truth is, by the end of this season, we're all going to be best friends. Probably crying because the season record for the Lions. But either way, there was an interesting article that came out earlier this week. It was the most hated NFL players per state across the country, right? So, of course, who do you guys think was the most hated player in 36 states, actually?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady, of course. Not here in Michigan, though. He's actually got a lot of fans.
Michigan, baby.
Yeah, of course. Aaron Rodgers, of course, the most hated player here in Michigan.
I was going to say him next.
Actually, Antonio Brown had 6 states. Aaron Rodgers had 4. Baker Mayfield had 2, which surprisingly, because of our rivalry with the state of Ohio, I feel like they should have just picked him just because. Winston, 1 state, and Watson, 1 state as well. So just 1, though. Just 1. And so I think that goes to say, we talked about it last week or whenever it was when Brady played the Patriots, but people love to hate successful situations and wins and things like that. So I'm not surprised by this at all.
Many people hate rich people too. People that don't like successful people.
Why is that though?
Which is why no one hates the Lions.
I don't know.
There's some tremendous difference. People hate success because they think they have no talent. They hate all the same. When you look at Jordan, he's hating. You look at Tom Brady, he's hating. They hate success. Now, when you talk about rich people, they get tax breaks.
That's also
rich people get tax breaks.
You know what it is, though?
They're smart enough to pay people. They have enough money to pay people to get them back.
Yeah, but you know what it is, though? It's so weird. Look at that. If you look at the history of it, because when they started taxing people, they were only taxing the upper class. And so what happened was the upper class said, they don't perform, they react. They went out, they hired lobbyists, they hired lawyers, and what happened was they were able to get these tax breaks, and then now the government said, okay, we're going to trickle it down to the middle class, to the lower class, but ultimately they got people to vote because they were telling the lower class, let's really tax the upper class, and then they end up hurting us.
And then also, I think there's another level. I don't think they hate rich people. There's a difference. Like me and Joy, we're rich. They don't hate us. You hate wealthy people. You hate certain families. When you say you hate rich people, like, they're not going to hate like rich people that have money, people that have million-dollar contracts and things like that. They don't hate those people. They hate the people that are buying $38 million homes because they can in a recession off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. That's a difference.
Bring that back to sports, though. They hate the wealthy people. Aaron Rodgers, Tom.
Okay, I give you that. I give you that.
And that will be incentive and win. That's what they But I don't I respect Aaron. No. But I think you're missing. I don't like it because one thing, I have that just double things. Like I don't respect and I just
I would think that it would drive at least the players to work a little harder. Like, I hate him because he's awesome, and I want to beat him, and I want to prove that. As fans, though, we don't know what goes into it.
What's
We're like,
the
are
rivalry?
they watching tape?
How's it a rivalry when you're not winning?
Right.
Well, that is the truth. That means that the Lions have no rivals.
Michigan, Ohio State.
And we had rivals when I played here. So.
You did. We haven't in a little while. That's the gist of that whole situation. But either way, what's going on with the? They tied it up.
The Jacksonville Jaguars kicked a 54-yard field goal to tie it up. The ball barely went over the crossbar. I mean, it was like,
I'm gonna tell you this.
It would not have been good from 55 yards.
If they lose by 3 points, or this game is decided on 3 points, they'll get it. Then they lost that possession, and then now is that argument.
Right.
But not even just that though. Think about what we were talking about. They would have had 3. It would have been 20 already. Now it would be 23. But Miami wouldn't have had that energy of getting that stop on 4th and 2 to go 92 yards, so they may not even have had that touchdown. So right now they wouldn't just be up 23-20. They might be up right now 23 or 27-13 still. Energy. That energy gave them
energy. We're feeling
Drake
it down
and Big Sean, man.
baby.
We're trying to get all the energy from all those runners this morning. Let's talk about that.
Energy.
Did you guys
bringing
see
it into this morning show.
This
the Big
this
D
whole,
bottom line.
This
It's
whole,
a collabo right now. Big D bottom line.
Okay, and the riff, and of course the riff.
The trio.
You
guys brought us together, so you guys get all the credit.
Well, thank you. I was trying to make my way down here this morning, watching these runners, and you guys, listen, I recreationally play sports, and golf is my thing, which doesn't require a whole lot of.
What's the handicap?
It's not good. Okay, let's just put it that way. It's not a great game, but I'm trying.
Speaking of golf, you see Ricky Fowler up in the CJ Cup right now.
Is he?
9 under yesterday, 63, his best round in the last 4 years. He's 21 under going into the last round.
I love Ricky Fowler.
In Vegas at Summit, out in Vegas at Summit. Actually, I got it right here. He's at the Summit Club out in Vegas right now. He's 21 under going into the final round. He's in the league, and Rory McIlroy is 19 under.
Wow, those two actually doing pretty well considering they haven't either one of them. It's been a minute since either one of them have won anything or even been in the top.
Rory always stays around the top 10. He floats somewhere between 12 and 6 consistently. But to your point, Ricky Fowler ranked 128th in the world right now. That's not where he's used to be. So good to see him bounce back and be number 1 right now, but he's got to finish the deal.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the, like I was saying, the energy. I was getting the energy from trying to watch these runners this morning. I'm trying to park. Yeah. I'm parked so far down. I had to walk a mile. I had to walk. Seriously? I had to briskly walk about 1 mile this morning to get to the broadcast. And I'm watching these runners, and they got their little silver blankets on and everything else. And I'm just hating myself because I stayed out way too late last night.
Oh, did you get all torn up? Did you get all dinged up last night, Jade?
Well, there was a couple of dings. I will say that.
It was a good time last night.
I had a good time, and now I'm just like hating myself of looking at these runners. We need to get that energy over to Ford Field. Hopefully we can get a win, and I could take a nap.
Have a shot in a beer.
Run the scoreboard up. That's what we need to run.
That's as my good friend Ken says every week. They need to score more points than the other team.
That'll do it every time, Jay.
That is the best strategy there is. And, how much time we got left? I want to talk about Monday Night Football, man. I'm excited for Monday Night Football. I know we're talking about the Lions, but Josh Allen, man, is on one this year.
You were talking all sorts of smack last Sunday. That night game against Kansas City.
Yeah. No, I said they were going to win.
Oh, yeah. No, you said they were. I picked the Chiefs.
Exactly.
And you were making fun of me. And then that rain delay, and I was like, they're going to come back. They're going to come back. They're going to get a fumble. Only it was Mahomes who
I'm going to tell you like
this,
man. Josh Allen and Justin Herbert, man. You hear this from Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, and he stole this quote from the great Buddy Ryan. Those guys can throw a strawberry through a battleship, man.
Yeah, the strawberry through a battleship.
Strawberry through a battleship, man. That's the great Buddy Ryan, whose sons are Rex and Rob, who's you just can't wait to watch this game in Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen, Buffalo, they have the best defense in the NFL right now. Statistically, they have the best offense. Statistically, they're just great. They pick up Emmanuel Sanders in the offseason. Now you have Emmanuel Sanders actually playing better than Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, hasn't even gotten off yet this year. It shows you how good that they are as an offense and as a defense. But I'm telling you this. It's something about Derrick Henry once you get into these colder months, mid-October, November.
Nobody wants to tackle him.
Nobody wants to tackle that big boy. Everything hurts a little bit more.
Derrick Henry has 4,200 yards in the last 40 games, man. He is a machine. It's in Nashville. Buffalo better strap it up, as my dad used to say.
It's fun. When he talks about that, it's been in the wintertime and you plan, this is our type of weather, So we go play Chicago. The coach will say, "Listen, you're gonna get a boatload of carry. Reggie's gonna be in, but this is your type of game. You play with your whole foot in the ground. This is Derrick Henry type of this is where he shines right here."
You ever talk to Reggie at all anymore, Joy?
Yeah, we tap in every so often. Yeah.
He's doing good out there on
Big Noon Energy. He's actually going to do our show coming up. I was talking to Brady Quinn, who's done our show. Good friend of mine. Played with Brady. I was there when he got drafted. But Matt Leinart and Reggie are going to tap in with us sometime in the next couple of weeks.
Man, you guys were a friggin' awesome one too, man.
Good time.
It was a great time. It was a great era of Lions football too.
Yeah, it was great because what me and Reggie would do, we would compete in everything. We held each other accountable. And when I say we would compete in everything, I mean even off the field. Whether it was pool, bowling, whether bowling. But the biggest thing he was a really big competitor in was ping pong. And so we were playing in the locker room all the time. And so he went out and got one for his house. And he would play with his wife. And I remember I went out to California. He invited me over. His wife cooked dinner. Shout out to Lalit. And we're sitting there, and we finished eating. He brings out this ping pong table, and we played 10 games straight. He would not let me leave the house until he beat me.
Oh, my God, that's great.
So you're a good ping pong player is what he's trying to get at. He wants to
you saw that?
His ping pong.
I'm going to tell you this. The best people on the team was Golden Tate, Rasheed Mathis.
I was going to say Golden Tate.
Darius Slay, and Ryan Broyles.
I can play ping pong now.
Best ping pong players are always
Golden Tate. Now, he's lefty. He's a lefty.
Oh, no.
He's a lefty.
Comes off different spin.
Comes out. And so when I went to his birthday party in San Diego, he has his ping pong table like on the deck. We go out there and play. And I said, "You sure you want to play? You've been drinking a little. You're a little bit impaired right now." And he said, "No, we can play." So I beat him twice. And then he tried to play me the second game, and he tried to play serious. I still won again. He said, "I got to play in the morning."
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's right. I got a finger injury, and I got to play in the morning.
My first time beating him at his house.
So what you hear about Joik is Joik does not care about home field advantage. He will always be the visitor and beat you at your own stuff.
And I like
that. What's up?
Take your remote control and turn the channel.
Well, we are broadcasting live down here at the Tin Roof for the DraftKings Rock and Roll Pregame Show on 101 WRIF. We are going to get into the Riff Zone momentarily. It's Guns N' Roses, 101 The Riff, everything that rocks.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Chris, let me get to the Lions, though. You've seen them a couple of times this year, and one of the questions that we always struggle with is, why is this regime any different from the previous 60 years we've seen here in Detroit, right?
Definitely.
I mean, what makes this team different? What makes Dan Campbell different? And at the start of the year, they were doing a couple of things that looked very familiar, but that game at Minnesota really, I mean, nobody gave them a chance to win this game, and they were in it. What was your takeaway watching that game? And as the ending unfolded, what was your takeaway there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in that, and and I've been doing this, calling play-by-play for more than 10 years and covering the NFL for 3 decades, whether it's sidelines or when I was back at ESPN and then now with Fox and Super Bowls and playoffs and covered the Lions the last time they were in the postseason with Stafford. So what's different is maybe Dan Campbell. I know you might think each time there's a new coach, this is different. I think bringing in a Chris Spielman in somewhere to help ownership, because that's the same. The Ford family and the ownership has remained the same through all this. And they seem very loyal and supportive, and maybe sometimes too much so, and not interfering. But what I've seen in the last couple of games was, and even talking to some of the players, I mean, you haven't had, you go back to Bobby Lane. I mean, Stafford, there's some quarterbacks along the way, but you haven't had the franchise guy. We don't know if Goff is that guy, but he has been to a Super Bowl, and that's if the Lions could just get there and get in that conversation, that would be a big deal. So whether he's the guy or not, and there are Goff critics, but I think with Dan Campbell and the kind of coach he is, the kind of background with Sean Payton and Bill Parcells, that influence that he has, eventually getting the right kind of players, and that's what they talk about, players that want to be here. You see some of the guys they signed that have come on already, well, like an Anzalone or Khalif Raymond, the contracts and with the chip on the shoulder, and I have something to prove. So the hard part is, too, that through the years they've been in a division with, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. So you have these Hall of Fame quarterbacks that you have to go up against. So I know your record is ultimately how you're judged, and that's why if this continues, then the regime might change over time. But I think there is a good feeling, if there can be a good feeling, about a winless football team. I have that from observing from afar, and then also talking the last couple of weeks and even before this season, before I spent a little time around the team and the organization.
Hey, Chris, Berlin was here. You kind of touched on it, so I still feel like the need to ask. You see the national attention that Dan Campbell is garnering. You see the support that the Detroit Lions are garnering around the league, around the analysts, around former coaches, former players, just talking about the team's willingness to fight for him, talking about being in these ball clubs. They see him crying on national TV on Friday. They see the emotion, and you just want to take your hat off and support the guy and put your arms around him, as my father Stan Edwards said. But when is the honeymoon phase over? Because he doesn't have the guys, like you said, but also you're starting to see the same mistakes. That mistake that they made in rushing 3 against the Vikings, they made that same mistake 2 weeks prior against Baltimore. So when is that honeymoon phase over, when it's, okay, we love this guy, but this is the same thing? To where Ryan said, when is the honeymoon phase over, and when do you have to win the game?
Well, I mean, the honeymoon phase is over. Well, first of all, you have to look at your players. If you have, I think, very good players, like you had with the Chargers, I think, by the way, and look at one coaching change there, and you see how good that football team is, and then adding a franchise quarterback, even though he was there last year. Not to knock, but if you match the talent level, and this is going to have to change through the draft. I mean, and obviously a guy like Penei Sewell is your top pick. Eventually, he's going to hopefully be your left tackle for many years to come. He'll probably go back to right once Taylor Decker is in there. But you have to draft the right players. You can sign some certain free agents to bring some people in, like we've seen, the Bucs do with Tom Brady. And look, they went from a team that hadn't been to the playoffs to all of a sudden they're there because of just a few moves and a head coach like Bruce Arians. So you've got to give Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes' front office this regime a chance, and it's got to be 2, maybe 3 years. I think they gave Matt Patricia too much of a chance, too long amount of time with what was going on there, because you didn't see you didn't see steps of progress. I think I've already seen some adjustments. You can talk about the 3-man rush, but they don't have anybody. I mean, the secondary, their cornerback position is just torn apart. I mean, so you have to assess each situation based on the players you have and the opponent you're going against. And look, I thought too, Dan Campbell, the week before when he gambled so much on 4th down in the Bears game. And then in this game, there were some early situations where I thought, but this is just me observing, well, it's 4th and 3, you're in a game like this, you go for it. But it's because a receiver goes down or another guy's hurt on the sideline. It hit his personnel versus the other team. In this case, last week, it was the Viking personnel. I think you got to adjust those decisions. Now, you'll see more of those adjustments, I think, on Sunday in terms of the kind of pressure. And again, they're going to have problems covering the kind of Bengal wide receivers you have. But if you see the same mistakes being repeated over and over with the same kind of talent, well, then I think you got to question the regime. But it's way too early for that, I think.
Chris Myers, NFL on Fox, of course, doing the Lions and Bengals this weekend. Chris, give us a little something on the Bengals. You did your homework, obviously. You and the Moose coming into Ford Field, which you told me you don't mind coming into Ford Field. You kind of like it here in Detroit. We love having you here.
Well, now Ford Field is a great building environment. I wish, for the Lions' sake, that their fans would be louder when they can be. But obviously, calling a game, the eye level or the closeness to seeing the field and watching the game along with your monitors is always an advantage, and it is. It's a comfortable atmosphere for a broadcaster. The Bengals. It just relates a little bit to Braylon's question before. They've been such a losing organization. They get a chance to get a franchise quarterback in Joe Burrow. People are putting pressure on Zach Taylor, who, by the way, worked with Jared Goff and worked well with him the year he went to the Pro Bowl, and they have a little bit of a good working relationship when Zach Taylor was part of the Rams coaching staff. And they were feeling some pressure. They went out and signed some key defensive players, Hendrickson, Ogunjobi up front. Awuzie comes over from the Cowboys and having a terrific year at the corner spot for them. They've had some injuries back there as well in their secondary, but they had a big decision to make, and it's funny how it relates to the Lions with that first-round draft pick this year. They were talking about drafting a guy like Sewell and protecting Burrow, who was injured last year, and instead they went with Jamar Chase, and their theory is, hey, we have some good receivers, but if we have three really good ones, you can't double and cover all of them, and it'll open up the entire field. So, and they've had a couple of stumbles at 3-2, and they're trying to. This is a key year for them in terms of, are we truly a contender in a tough division with Baltimore and Cleveland, and they have the Ravens coming up after this game. So, to me, they're a very exciting team to cover. Their offense, Joe Mixon's not entirely healthy, but he's obviously their key guy on the ground. But with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd, and then you've got Uzomah at tight end. They really have, their offensive line is slowly building, but they really have, I think, as much offensive talent with a guy like Joe Burrow who can distribute it. And he's not entirely healthy, working his way back from the knee injury, but he's a very good, he's a franchise quarterback. I think you can see that already. So to me, they're a very good team, and they don't want to have a moral victory losing a close one to Green Bay. They didn't pass that test. But this is one that they're coming into. They used to be on the other side of this. In fact, the Bengals have talked to us about that. Some of their players have said, hey, we've been where the Lions are at 0-5, and we know how that feels when you're trying to turn a franchise around. We use culture, but the whole franchise, and get that win. And they went back and looked and said, hey, the Lions were in all these games. They're just a player short here or there, or a decision short. And if those coaching decisions are made properly going forward, maybe it increases the Lions' chances against a good. You're a lot more relaxed. Now, from the Rams' point of view, look, and I'm a Stafford fan too, but they gave up a lot to get Stafford. And, his history is he's not only going to win a playoff game, I mean, they went to a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. So anything short of that, the Rams' vision with Stafford, whether it's his fault or not, he's going to kind of be judged on that. But for him and his family, he's very happy out here.
Hey, Chris, final question. And it's an interesting question. I'm saying I know you've covered the NFL in some form or fashion, like you said, 3 decades. So this would be a good question for you.
20 seconds.
And it could just be me. I'm a young guy.
I don't hear my. There we go.
You remember that? Young.
Check.
Oh, all right.
I got some stroke in the game.
Check.
Watching this NFL this year, I remember
they won. It's over. It's over.
They just kicked the field goal.
Are we live? Are we broadcasting live? Oh my God, we're live. It's Rock and Roll Pregame Show down here.
We don't get a five.
I got it on my phone. I'm not paying attention. I got you over here doing hand symbols and everything else.
Oh man, I can't put that one on him.
We are live here with my good friends Ryan Armani, my best friend Braylon Edwards, and Joik Bell, who casually strolls in here for the Tin Roof Pregame Show. We're here in in the Rift Zone. We're live, right? Everything's good. Everything's going on. I got all sorts of people waving hands. The wind is knocking things over.
Well, you know what's funny is that's Drake's celebration. I mean, Drake's celebration of hands.
So in the middle of the season, well, not middle.
That was always dope, man. Simplicity wins.
You know what was funny? I don't even know how I came up with that celebration.
How'd you start that?
That's a good question. I always wondered that.
I have no idea how. I wanted something organic and something that just came to me, and I wanted something that brought attention to me, but got the crowd into it. And so it ended up being something bigger than what I thought. I had a player come up to me at the end of the game and said that was the best celebration he's ever seen. You have the first row all the way up to like the third section, all hands up one. And everyone's in unison with it. And so it was dope, man, just to see the whole crowd.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, I love it.
It's one of those things you get jealous of because, you know, some individuals, myself used to Dougie a lot when the Dougie came out, but you got individuals that do things that are trending. You do something that's trending, but you're trending because of songs. Songs disappear. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, oh, well, I can't Dougie 4 years from after Dougie comes out. Meanwhile, what he did, it was very organic, it was very simplistic, but it lasted the test of time. People are still doing it now, so that was why you got it.
Traylon, we got some space back here.
You know what they say? They say trending is the last stop before tax.
And I appreciate it.
All right.
No.
Did you just call me tax?
No. I said the last stop.
All right, we are here in the Rift Zone. So, Week 5 results. Ryan and Braylon, you guys nailed it last week. 3 of 6, which is I think the best week that anyone's had. Me, Steve, and Maz, 1 of 6. I'm terrible. That's 500.
Justin Fields.
I don't have those results with me, but you did all right. You did good.
You and Neil did great.
Yeah, you guys did good. You did good. So right now on the season totals, Maz has 13, Braylon has 13, Ryan zooming past me with 11, and me and Steve both have 9. So that's where we stand. So for Week 6 here in the Rift Zone, the prediction, Lions plus 3.5 against Cincinnati. And I've been saying it all day. The Lions are getting their first win today. It's going to happen. I'm picking the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with the Lions, too. Jacksonville won their game today, 23-20. So the Lions are the only unbeaten team in the NFL. That will end today. They will get their win.
Cincinnati.
Braylon's going Cincinnati.
You know what it is? All right, so are we going over who's just going to win or they're going to cover?
Cover.
I hate playing the cover, man.
The Bengals.
I'm taking
I think the Lions are going to win the game, but I don't think they're going to cover.
Okay.
No,
if the Lions win, they cover.
If the Lions win, they cover. Yeah, they're favored to lose 3.5. So they will win.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
All right, Tom Mazaway joining us.
I got the Lions today for their first win. I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it.
I picked the Jags on my way in today, didn't I, Ryan?
You did, buddy.
You're feeling something, all right.
I'm hot.
You're listening to Casey Kasem.
I got can I
This
pick
is our first win I had on our roster.
Is it too late to pick the Jaguars?
Steve, who are you picking?
I so hope that Coach cries after the game today for a victory. That would be so amazing.
If he cries, he'd overdo it.
You're crying too much, man.
Yeah, he cried once.
We got 3 minutes. We better get through these.
We're crying all day.
All right.
Hey, look, let's not talk about why we're picking it. Let's just pick.
Let's pick them. Over under passing yards for Jared Goff, 260.5. I'm going under.
Over.
Way under.
Braylon's going way under. Tom, where are you going?
Under.
Mr. Steve?
Yep, under. Give me under.
All right, 4-1 Green Bay, minus 4.5 at Chicago, who are 3-2. I'm picking Green Bay. Ryan?
Green Bay today, big.
Braylon?
Green Bay.
Joy, Green Bay. Tom?
The Bears.
Oh, he's going with Chicago. Steve, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Green Bay on that one.
All right.
No wonder Sean hates you.
Undefeated 5-0 Cardinals, plus 2.5 at the Cleveland Browns, who are 3-2. I'm picking the Browns.
Brownies today.
I'm going Brownies. Braylon?
I talked all about that grass. That's tough, man.
Just pick.
Cardinals.
He's picking the Cardinals. Joik?
I'm going to the Cardinals.
Joik is going Cardinals. Tom?
Go Cleveland.
Going Brownies. And Mr. Steve has got the Browns jersey on. Who are you picking?
Yeah, give me Jim Brown, 1964 jersey on. I'm going Browns. Go.
All right. The 2-3 Seahawks at the 2-3 Steelers. Straight up. It's the Sunday night game. Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. And I have no reason why. I'm going Seahawks.
Go with the Steelers today. I think Pittsburgh wins this game. Geno Smith starting for the Seattle Seahawks looked good the other night, but I think Big Ben is going to Steelers.
Oh. Braylon.
It's one thing to come in and have a couple good players. It's another thing to be the focus and play a whole game. I'm going with Steelers. Big Ben is on a warpath.
All right, Joik. You there?
I got
hello.
I'm gonna go with everyone's going one way. I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Yeah, Seahawks. All right, Tom.
I'm not taking Geno Smith. Give me the Steelers.
All right, and Steve.
Aggressive.
Always.
I'm not
Pittsburgh.
taking Geno Smith.
Always Pittsburgh. Even when they're going to lose, I pick Pittsburgh.
All right.
Pittsburgh.
I don't sound that way, Braylon.
Who's going to have the most rushing yards in Week 5, excluding Thursday's game and, of course, this morning's game?
Monday night football. It's not even close. It's October. It's cold. It's in Nashville. D. Henry has 200 more yards rushing than any other running back in the NFL. He's running away with the rushing title yet again.
Ryan?
I'll go with Jonathan Taylor today.
Right.
Indianapolis against Houston.
Joik?
No, Derrick Henry for sure. Like I said, this is our type of weather.
It's running back weather, man.
It's running back weather.
All right, I'm going.
And it's going to be a night game, so it's going to be even colder.
Oh boy. I'm going Ezekiel Elliott.
Ooh.
Tom Mazaway.
You just stole my guy.
Oh, I'm so sorry.